Have you ever noticed that the moment you stop trying so hard for someone, they suddenly start paying attention? Or when you tell someone not to bother doing something, they somehow want to do it even more? If that sounds familiar, you're not imagining it. That's one of the simplest forms of reverse psychology. And in relationships, it plays a much bigger role than most people realize. Today, I'm breaking down how reverse psychology really works in relationships, why people react so strongly to it, and how it quietly shapes attraction, communication, and even long-term love. By the end of this video, you'll understand why pulling back sometimes brings someone closer, why pushing too much can ruin a connection, and when reverse psychology actually backfires. Let's get started. To understand reverse psychology, we have to start with a basic truth about human behavior. People don't like feeling controlled. The moment someone feels pressure, even gentle pressure, they instinctively push back. This reaction is called reactance, and it's the emotional need to protect our freedom. When someone feels their choices are limited, they fight to take those choices back. This is why reverse psychology works. Instead of pushing someone to do something, you remove the pressure, and when the pressure disappears, people become more open, more curious, and more engaged. It's not about tricking anyone. It's simply understanding how humans respond when they feel safe and free instead of controlled or cornered. Think about this. Have you ever told someone, "It's okay, you don't need to text me back right away"? Even if they weren't planning to text you, suddenly they want to. Why? Because you gave them permission to make their own choice. You created space instead of pressure. And in relationships, space is often the thing that brings people closer, not distance for the sake of games, but emotional breathing room. Reverse psychology also affects attraction in a powerful way. Humans naturally want what feels slightly out of reach. We're drawn to things that seem rare, confident, or not easily won. When someone shows too much neediness or desperation, it lowers the perceived value of the relationship. But when someone has their own life, their own priorities, and doesn't constantly chase, it creates a natural pull. Let me give you an example. A friend of mine was always texting her boyfriend first, always trying to fix every little issue before he even brought it up. The more she pushed, the more he pulled away. Eventually, she stopped trying so hard. Not out of anger or manipulation, she just stopped forcing things. And within 2 days, guess who reached out first? He did. Not because she used a trick, but because she removed pressure and allowed the relationship to breathe again. Reverse psychology shows up all the time in communication too. When you stop trying to convince someone of your point, they're more likely to actually listen. When you stop explaining yourself over and over, you sound more confident. When you stay calm during a disagreement, it forces the other person to calm down too. People respond differently when they realize they aren't being pushed or forced emotionally. For example, saying something like, "It's okay, you don't have to agree with me," immediately lowers someone's defenses. Suddenly, they feel respected and in control, and that makes them more willing to consider your side. It's the opposite of what most people do in arguments, where both sides push harder, making the other person resist more. Reverse psychology also plays a surprising role in the early stages of dating. When you're always available, always responsive, always trying to please the other person, it removes mystery and lowers attraction. But when you're confident, calm, and not trying to win someone's approval, it creates a stronger pull. Confidence is attractive. Emotional independence is attractive. And when you stop chasing, you give the other person the chance to move towards you. In long-term relationships, reverse psychology shows up in more subtle ways. If you want someone to open up, pushing them rarely works, but being patient and giving them time often does. If you want more effort or appreciation, constantly giving too much can make the other person take you for granted. But when you gently pull back, it often makes your partner realize your value. None of this means you should play games. Reverse psychology becomes toxic when it turns into manipulation. The goal isn't to trick someone or force them to act a certain way. The real power of reverse psychology comes from letting go of pressure, letting go of fear, and letting go of the need to control every outcome. When you take that step back, you create room for healthier behavior to grow. But there are times when reverse psychology doesn't work. If the relationship has no emotional foundation, pulling back won't magically create attraction. If the person is genuinely not interested, no psychological tactic will fix it. If someone has already decided to move on, giving space won't change their mind. And if you use reverse psychology in situations that actually require honest communication like trust issues or serious problems, it can make things worse. Reverse psychology works best when there's already a real connection and when both people still care. It helps clarify emotions, reduce pressure, and reset the energy between two people. Let's look at a few simple examples of reverse psychology that happen naturally in relationships. When you stop chasing someone, they often start coming toward you. When you show you're okay without constant communication, they usually communicate more. When you stay calm during a disagreement instead of arguing back, the fight often ends quicker. When you focus on your own life instead of proving your worth, your value becomes obvious. The truth is, people don't fall for manipulation. They respond to freedom. They respond to confidence. They respond to emotional independence. Reverse psychology is really just the result of those qualities. Before we end, here's something to think about. Has reverse psychology ever worked for you without you even realizing it? Maybe you stopped texting someone and they suddenly came back. Maybe you stopped trying so hard and the relationship improved. Or maybe the opposite happened. Either way, it teaches us something important about how humans work. To wrap up, here are the main lessons. Reverse psychology works because people resist pressure and crave freedom. Attraction grows when you stop chasing and start valuing yourself. Communication improves when you stop forcing conversations and allow them to flow naturally. And long-term relationships become healthier when both people have space to breathe. But it must be used with good intentions, not manipulation. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe for more psychology-based videos, and feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.